Now let's try. But now I think our switcher is going to break. It's working, but we're not.
All right, hold on. No, we're live.
We are live?
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it on mine.
Look at mine.
Right
here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So what's the deal? Why is mine... Oh, there it goes.
I don't know. I just want to say, though, I'm the reason that got fixed.
That's true.
I was the one that said,
that's right.
That's different on the ATEM.
Yeah, you're right.
That's
my wife has saved the podcast.
I think we need to tell Brian.
We should tell Brian because he literally said, I think your wife could really help you troubleshoot things.
I think she's got gifts.
And I said, no, she can't.
You've never seen her try to open an app on her phone.
Yes. Okay, welcome, everybody who's going to watch this when it's not live. And I am going to minimize some things here so that I can participate effectively in this.
Don't close the ATEM.
I'm not closing the ATEM. I just want to make sure I've got my my stuff up because I don't want all this audio visual stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, we wanted to we have not done a podcast in a long time. Is there an echo? Do you feel like there's an echo coming through a phone or something? I don't think so.
No, I don't hear anything. I mean,
yeah.
If there's anything wrong, we'll find out after this is done.
All right, I'm going to look at that camera right there.
Yep. No,
so,
you should look at me.
I should look at you?
Yeah, you shouldn't be like looking.
Yeah, but I was going to talk to the people.
Talk to the people.
I'm going to talk to the people.
Give the people what
they want. We shouldn't be this joyful. But I do want to talk on a serious note that we had pretty much decided that we were going to... I had all these cameras set up in the back corner here. And after the events of Charlie Kirk, my wife lovingly suggested to me that we should try starting up our podcast again, but this time with a more intentional mission of evangelizing people and telling the world about Jesus, his church, the Catholic one, and all of the making it more of a ministry thing. Because what we did before was that we were basically kind of like a nerd shop. We wanted to give people good books to read, which will still be a part of the podcast. We wanted to kind of talk about interesting ideas, and we had an audio version called Solomon's Corner, and that did well. Then we became Catholic, and so that made things a little bit awkward. It's still switching over there too, by the way.
It's switching back and forth to you?
Yeah, to you. I think it's because your mic's picking up on stuff. So as you can see, that this is still very much a test run, which is okay because candid content makes the best content. So
people love to learn and grow.
They do. So we're going to change what Pious Reflections is all about. And instead of just being, thoughtful kind of little things, we're going to be more straightforward on our mission of telling people the truth. And I'm going to say that one of the reasons why the podcast didn't work out initially was because I kept overthinking things. And Charlie Kirk's death, while I didn't follow much of his stuff before, I always saw his videos pop up, and I always thought, oh, that's great. Charlie's out there representing good. And, he wasn't really after my demographic, although he'd probably say, based on some of the videos I've seen, that he was after everybody. But it made me realize that I was pulling my punches and that I was concerned about losing friends, and it was taking me too long to produce the content. And that's not without reason. Our initial run at a podcast led to quite a bit of criticism that made it very difficult to want to keep going. And at this point, we kind of said we don't really want to lose friendships, and we don't want to make enemies and things like that if we say something stupid or if we, don't couch something exactly right. And I know a lot of people say that Charlie Kirk was a very winsome person, and he was, but I don't think anybody who is supporting Charlie Kirk would prefer to be in his crosshairs, even though he was winsome, because he still made people look like they didn't know what they were talking about. And I don't intend to intentionally make people feel stupid for what they believe or anything, but when you've been exposed as believing something that's not true, it's not exactly comfortable. And I found myself getting frustrated and not wanting to make content because I just felt like I always had to make it perfect and I just had to do it exactly right. And so we are going to try again, and we're going to not pull the punches. I'm going to be and say what I actually think. And we're going to do this once a week. We will have guests. I do have one podcast that I recorded that I never posted that I intend to edit this weekend and put up. It's a great pro-life testimony from Christina Janung. And I think everybody's going to really enjoy that. It's an amazing story. And I just don't really care how many subscribers we get. I just want to do my part at this point. And this is what I can do. And I can't, given my position, I can't get out to campuses. I can't go and do those things, maybe one day. But this is what God's given us. He's given us a podcast studio with good equipment. And I have a job that provides me the flexibility to do this. This is not my full-time job. If you would like to make this my full-time job, subscribe, like, and comment. There, see, am I doing it right?
You're doing it right.
I'm doing it right.
Yeah,
I think I'm doing
yeah,
it right.
Yep.
So what we're planning on doing tonight is we're just going to talk about some of the craziness. We might test out my ability to play a video up there for you and for us. We have a TV up here in the corner that you can't see. It's really a nice studio, and God's really blessed us. This cross is actually from the Middle East, so which you can't really see because the camera didn't switch because I'm still talking, so let me be quiet for a moment. There we go. It's right there. And now you can't see it because I'm talking again. So we'll have to work that bug out. But the cross is very cool. It's got water, holy water, and oil.
Oil.
Is it chrism?
Yeah, I think it's
from
chrism
the
oil.
Holy Sepulchre, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre
Yeah.
in the Holy Land, and it's made of olive wood, and it's got olive leaves from the Garden of Gethsemane, all sorts of cool stuff. And then we've got Saint Maximilian Kolbe and Saint John Paul II behind my wife. So you got to say something now because we don't have a producer down here, so we're going to have to kind of jerry-rig this.
So I'm just going to talk for a moment.
There you go.
Okay, so I'm going to just keep talking so that everyone can enjoy looking at the saints behind my head.
Yeah, you should talk about them, because then when you talk about them.
Okay, so over there,
yes,
you can see Pope John Paul II and Maximilian Kolbe,
yes.
who I do love kind of by extension, but more importantly, I would say you and one of our children especially love him.
Yes.
Love both of them.
And then I have behind me C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, which I think is a great example because I was previously a Protestant and now I'm Catholic. And I keep those two giants behind me to remind myself not to get too haughty. And it helps also that the church kind of says don't get too haughty. So, but I wanted to talk about Charlie Kirk. So that's getting the administrative stuff out of the way. This is my lovely wife, Lindsay.
Hi.
And I would not be down here if she had not convinced me to pull the cameras out again. So thank you very much, my love.
You're welcome. You're welcome. But I also think it's fair to say that you also might have been down here sooner had it not been for all the times that I was like, hey, could we do something other than work on the podcast? So,
yes, that is true.
It's a balance.
Yes.
I'll take the credit,
That's
but
right.
I think it's also fair to say.
But yeah, so I guess I'm going to start and ask you a question. What is the craziest thing about Charlie Kirk that you have seen in the last 5 days?
I would say this may not be I don't know that this was the craziest thing, but one of the clips that most touched me was him talking to the father and son who are completely divided. And first of all, if I were to see the young man walking down the street, there's no way I would have ever looked at him and said, oh, there's a guy who's a conservative. He has neck tattoos all the way up to his jaw. He's like pierced all over the place and has shaggy black hair. Like I just would look at him and naturally think, yeah, we don't share values or views or anything like that. And he and his dad come up to the mic to ask for Charlie Kirk's opinion about how to be united as a family. And I just so admired what Charlie Kirk said about how the relationship of a son and a father is worth preserving. I still struggle sometimes with how that juxtaposes with Christ's call to be obedient to the truth no matter what, knowing that the sword will divide mother and daughter, father and son, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. But regardless, in that moment, we can split the hairs about what Christ means by that command. But just the sheer fact that he was so quick to affirm a way to respect the Father and a way to show the Son as not being like some moron. It was just, I thought he showed so much respect and integrity for both of them, that they both had goodwill, even if they were not coming to the same conclusions about things. I just thought it was beautiful. What about you?
Yeah, I think that the best one that I saw so far was the clip of him talking to a guy who was a black young man, and he started talking to them to him about black crime and violence, and the kid was clearly nervous. And I think one of the things that Charlie Kirk did a great job with was making his opponents feel like they could actually say what they wanted to in what would have been perceived by them as a hostile environment. Mm-hmm. He kept control of his followers, I guess you would say, in a way that people probably would have preferred Trump to do in his first term, And I think that the biggest thing, though, is that nobody really knew that this essentially kid was impacting the country to the extent that they were.
Yeah.
I mean, like, RFK Jr. came out at his vigil in Washington, D.C., where they had only 48 hours to actually prepare for this event, which, I mean, they got so many big people to come out. And then J.D. Vance is hosting his podcast today. And I have YouTube shorts. Yeah, I'll bring it back to that. I have some YouTube shorts here that I think we'll watch, but and just talk about, and people can watch them with us. But I think the other thing is that, he is the reason that RFK Jr. dropped out of the race and united with Trump.
And that it happened at a turning point event.
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
And the thing is that the left right now wants to say, oh, we need to unite. We need to unite. We need to unite. And they killed the guy who was uniting the left and the right. And I think that's a real big problem. Today, I posted that I was going to change, views, or not views, but I was going to change, I'm not a big football fan, but I did post something today, and about how I didn't want to watch the Detroit Lions anymore because I didn't feel like they had honored Charlie Kirk. They didn't do anything. They were one of the teams that refused. And I had grown up in Michigan, so I had always done, I had always cheered for the Lions. And I just posted, I was going to change my team on Twitter. And then it went quasi-viral. And I had a guy with 1 million followers insult me for the fact that I thought Charlie Kirk shouldn't be dead. And he called me a sheep for being a fair weather fan or whatever.
There were some really gross things that people said.
I mean, smaller accounts, but sure. I had I don't even know. Wonder what it is at right now. I'm going to check real quick.
When I saw it this afternoon, there were 50 responses.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm looking here. I retweeted my stuff. And yeah, now it's at 15,000 views and almost 100 comments. So, I mean, it's not crazy, but I mean, I'll just read you some of this. This guy has 1 million views. He said, "A sheep as yourself, follow the hate." And that guy has 1 million views.
1 million followers?
1 million followers. Sorry. And there was another guy who called me a KKK person. And most of these were absolute insults, like good riddance, we don't need you. There were some that were like, hey, you should root for this team or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was a poll that apparently came out that said like 25% of the country thinks that it's better without Charlie Kirk.
Holy cow.
Which is a very terrifying thing.
When people say be unified, and then 25% of people think it's okay to murder someone on the opposing side, and it's always one way. And it's hard to see where the rallying for unity is supposed to go.
Yeah.
Unless it's just,
So this is ranking my moments from Charlie Kirk, and there's 6 of these, and it's a short. So I'm going to try and pull this up and see if we can play this for everybody. And I'm going to make it bigger.
You're going to click cam 1, right?
Oh, you could do that. Hold on just a second. Let me try it. Let me try it from the switcher. Everybody hang in there.
Let's do it.
Let's see what's going to happen here. If we switch to cam 1.
Come on.
Hold on.
We're all watching.
I think I'd like you to hit cam 1 because I don't want to show like my stream.
Yeah.
Hold on. Not yet. Sorry. Hold on. No, not there on that. Because if you switch to this, if you use that, don't use that. You're going to conflict with my my thing.
All right. So you want me to get up?
I want you to get up.
Push the button.
Go push the button.
But don't get in the camera angle.
Yeah. So now we're ready. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, you can just go hit the button. Hit number 1, and it should just switch. You're on the show. You're not like hiding from. There we go.
It worked.
All right. Now let's see. Let's could get really loud, guys. So just beware. Address yourself.
Yes. What is a woman? Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon. So I want to thank you for proving a great point. What? You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much. Are you married? Yes, with 2 beautiful children. Wow, good for you. I can tell you're not married. You're so scared to debate me. Actually, I'm not scared. Debate me anytime. Honestly, I'm good. I just debated the governor of this state. I don't need to debate you, Parker, okay?
You keep interrupting me. Every time I actually try to... actually explain my point and have a reasonable conversation with you.
This is how you feel, Daniel, sometimes talking to me.
I'm going to give you another chance. What's your favorite Jane Austen novel? Harry Potter?
Oh.
My shirt, everybody, my shirt says Charlie Kirk. Clearly you're offended.
Actually, I'm not. I find it hilarious. In fact, I'm so important that you have to make a shirt with my name on it. The FBI statistics, it's well known.
FBI statistics, where can you show me that at? 70% of offenders were African American.
I know you're obviously very anti-trans.
No, I'm pro-reality. You're a teacher.
Oh, man.
That's the end.
Yeah, it's the end. All right, can you go back to cam
No,
1
I
now?
need you to know.
I need to go hit the button.
I think so. I don't know how we go back.
You got to go back to video follows audio. You got to turn VFA back on.
I have to turn video. Okay,
Because-
everybody, you're seeing the thing now. No, it's
It's still on?
still on. You need to go back to.
No, it's back.
Oh, is it
I'm
back on?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay,
switched.
great.
It switched to me.
Oh, awesome. Okay, well then I don't know what it
I don't
did.
know how it did that.
Well, hopefully it
cool.
didn't switch off. All right, well there you go. It worked.
I think it's working.
That's awesome. So anyway, I think that also highlights. I would just like to say, Charlie was very winsome. He also had no problem embarrassing somebody that he felt was not there in good faith.
Yes.
And I think that that's what is important to talk about, because there's a lot of people, who are now big Charlie Kirk fans. Like I would say we fall into that camp. We knew he was doing great work. We just, I don't think people had any idea, except for like the people at the Daily Wire.
I would say real internet types.
Like that Charlie basically was the mover and shaker of the entire conservative internet.
Yeah, all the new conservative blood coming in.
Yep.
I had no clue that he was touching and was like personally responsible for so much movement of the old conservatives.
Yeah. And so I think that it's important to point out that a big reason why was because he showed radical leftists and showed the world how insane their views actually were. And he did it in a friendly way. He did it in open debate. But a lot of people that, for example, went along with the vaccine would not have liked Charlie Kirk in 2020.
Right.
Not at all.
Right.
They would have thought that his views were fringe. They would have called him a conspiracy theorist.
Yep.
They would have said that he was rude, that he wasn't being sensitive, that he was killing grandma. Like, lots of things that he said. And there's a lot of conservatives out there who still think they made the right decision on COVID.
Right.
They did not.
Right.
And Charlie Kirk is one of the reasons why you were proven wrong. And people are talking about how we are going to move forward. If you do not look at the fact that people who were concerned about COVID or were concerned about the transgender stuff, I mean, we tried to put when we were conservative, or we still are. When we were Anglican, that doesn't sound good either. You know, oh, now we're Catholic and now we're liberal. You know, given what the USCCB has been doing with not talking about things, some people might think that. But where was I going? I lost my train of thought. Help
Anglican.
me, wife.
When we were Anglican.
Yes. So
When
we were Anglican, we tried to put on a "What is a Woman" showing, and we had initially gotten support from that.
we had been requested by leadership
Right.
to
And then
lead this showing.
We don't need to get into
I'm
all the
sorry,
details.
I'm just saying.
Anyway,
it was not just our
some
own
people might
harebrained
actually
idea.
watch this.
Anyway.
We should.
All I'm s-
We have to be careful, okay? We
I'm
don't need to pull
nobody,
punches. I know I just said
all
we're not going to pull punches, but we also don't need to
Air all the
reveal our
laundry.
entire life.
Fair enough.
Calumny and detraction are sins, and that's one of the ones that you realize. Wow, Catholics really have thought of everything. You know.
Yes, all right.
So anyway,
I retract what I said.
you didn't say anything wrong. You were just getting close.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what a good man is for, to help you not just plunge right off the cliff
Right.
of calumny, you know?
Yes. Is that the one? Wouldn't it be detraction? Because detraction is actually the truth because it has a T, and calumny is like a lie. Trent Horn said that. He said that's how you remember
don't
it.
have a way
Calumny has an L, and it's lies.
I like that.
Detraction has a T, and it's telling something
I just-
true, but that's
But
not
that you
for the
didn't-
common good. That you didn't need to say.
Yeah, saying the things you didn't.
So I don't think you necessarily said something you shouldn't say.
I just read the guidelines.
But
you
to
know?
but to be safe, go to confession.
Yeah.
So anyway,
What is a woman?
yeah. So we
Showing.
were going to show this thing, and then we had created a slide for it and everything, and then somebody said that people were going to get offended, and that we couldn't do the showing.
Yep.
And this was a pro-life Anglican church that also made a lot of statements about not George Floyd specifically, but were not afraid to have people come in and talk about race and DEI and slavery and systemic racism and things like that. It wasn't always overboard, but they did have people come in and talk about those things. And it's one of those things where, like, Charlie was one of those people who in the videos would say, look, you're not going to hear this anywhere else, including churches,
Right.
but I'm going to tell you what the Bible says.
Yep.
And I think that that's an important thing to recognize, that one of the things Charlie did was, yes, he was there to get voters, but he was also there to evangelize.
Yeah. To
And
win the heart and the
people
mind.
are saying, well, he merged those two things together. Well, yeah, in a sense, but he was really after getting out the vote, and he didn't allow that to get in the way of evangelism. That's just my read on it, and others might disagree. If you watch this or you are watching this, let me know if you agree with that. But I think that's an important thing to keep in mind when
Yeah.
you are considering the fact that we have like more viewers than I thought.
I've got my 5 iPhones sitting
Yeah,
in my
that's right,
pocket
yeah.
so that our viewership looks really
Yeah.
healthy. That's all that's going on.
I'm just checking to make sure that we actually have. Oh, wow. People are watching for like 3 minutes.
What?
That's great. Welcome, everybody. But I think that's the thing that people have to understand is that, like, he was actually willing to talk to people about Jesus and then immediately go into something political. Are you commenting right now?
No, I was actually, a friend just asked what the name of our podcast was, which I can't believe I've never told her. So I just told her. Pies
Did you
for
send her the
Punches.
link?
No, I just said the
We're
answer.
live streaming right now.
I know, but I was trying to be
Tell her.
quick about it. I was trying
Come
to be
on.
quickety split. I don't want to distract
No.
you. Okay, well, I'm doing it.
Yeah, send her the
doing
link.
it, folks.
Share this, everybody.
Share that.
Share this live
Share
stream.
this
In fact, I
stuff.
should probably put it out onto
STS.
on the old
Copy
Twitter.
the link.
That's what I should do.
You wish you had more Lindsay in your life? You're welcome.
That's right.
You're welcome, friend.
Yep. I'm sharing it out. Hold on, everybody.
Is it 10:30 and you need something to do?
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm not answering your phone calls. Just watch me on the podcast instead, you know?
Yeah.
STS. Share that stuff. So anyway, okay, so you were talking about how...
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm putting out a sick tweet.
Sweet.
Well, now they're posts.
Okay, wait, but I have something I could say so that the poor listeners could have something.
Yeah, sure.
Some
Go for
little
it.
ear candy for themselves.
Yep.
No, you were talking about how he did not pass up the opportunity to evangelize when he was
Yeah.
also out getting the vote. And it made me think of one video and one of the motivations I have, because I'm not a really philosophical person and I don't have quite the level of book reading that you do. I like fiction and
It's true.
stuff like
Fiction
that.
is still good, though.
I mean, it is still good depending on what it is. But anyhow, so one of the videos I saw that I just thought was great is there was a young man who walked up to him and said he was dating a young lady who was not aligned with him politically. But he said they aligned in their values. And he said, "What should I do?" to Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk said, "Do you want the truth?" And this young man said, "Yes." Charlie Kirk said, "Do not marry this girl."
Yep.
And this is something that you and I talk about all the time. We've been married going on 15 years now. So we've had some experience at it. But I especially love, because I'm not a very philosophical person, I like reality. I like logic. And I like to look at our relationship as a very easy example of logical success. You know, if you do these principles, you're not guaranteed success, but you're certainly going to have a higher likelihood of it.
Yeah.
And what he said to that young man about how once children are in the mix, it's exactly what we've said to each other, and we say to young people all the time, that once kids are in the mix, you cannot be starting your day off with a podcast or turning on the news, and you're already in a fight or at odds with the mother or father of your children, because your morals should be framing where you're getting your news from and what political party you're aligned with.
Yep.
So I don't understand how you can say you are values aligned and not politically aligned.
Yep.
That's a contradiction.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is too is that it's not. These aren't political issues. These are moral issues.
Exactly.
And so the problem is that a lot of people are saying, well, transgenderism is a political issue. Well, no, it's a moral issue.
Right.
And all political issues are a moral issue. Why
Right.
do you want more money in the government welfare system? Because you think you should take care of the poor and you think that's a solution to it. That's a moral presumption. You think, well, we should take care of the poor, and therefore that's a moral obligation.
Right.
Because we don't want to just like euthanize them.
Right.
Canada. So like the thing that I think is important is that in what Charlie was doing was that he was talking to people in their language in order for them to get a point. Did you see the Bill Maher clip where he talks about Jesus is risen?
Yes. And he says,
I'm gonna
I
see if
don't
I can find
understand
that.
why he said is risen and not was risen.
I should just pull up like X because I feel like those are like the better clips.
Yeah, that reel of the top 8 or top 10 was not I don't agree with it. It was funny, but
Well, Charlie Kirk put it up. So
Charlie Kirk called those
that was
his
Charlie
best.
Kirk's.
Well, Charlie, other people are going to crown you with even greater clips.
That's right. I'm looking here to see what we have from. I'm just going to search Charlie Kirk on X and we'll watch another clip real quick. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. And then, like.
So, are you pulling up him talking to Bill Maher?
I'm looking here. Oh, man. That's a crazy one.
All right. But the audience doesn't know what
It's
you're
true.
looking at. So
Should I pull it
don't
up?
I would say just pull something up or stop looking at it and talk to me
pulling
about
it up.
what
I'm
you're
pulling it
thinking.
up.
Okay. I'm
All
going
right,
to
this
crawl
is-
over. I'm
this
going to
is-
crawl and push the number 1
This one
button.
might make you cry.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Crawl under and push
All right. You don't have to crawl on it. You just need to walk across. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Hold on. Okay. This is Charlie Kirk telling his daughter how they met.
So we're here at Bill's Burgers in New York City. And right near this very table was the first time Dad met Mom and it started as a job and I was asking all these questions. Philosophy, religion, Jesus. And then I realized Mama was beautiful and smart and elegant and Christ-like. And so I said, forget this job interview. I want to date you. I'm enough friends. And that's where your journey started.
Oh, man.
That was a good one. I don't even know if you guys could hear that, so if you can't hear that, let me know.
All right. Let's see if it'll go back. Let's see if the auto switching will kick back in again.
I don't know if it's gonna.
All right.
It
So
doesn't
hold
look
on.
like it's gonna.
It's not doing it. So pull back up the switcher.
And then what's it doing?
And now
is it
go
gonna
back
do
to
it now?
go back to the audio switching and make
Go
sure.
here?
Yep. Click
Oh, do I
that.
just have to click that?
And then make
Oh,
sure-
there it
boom,
goes.
There it goes.
Okay, so now
we're
we figured it
learning.
out. You
All
go to
right.
audio
You just
and it
open
just
up the
turns it back
switcher and
off.
you go back.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right.
But also, I think that you can switch it from there without your screen being all visible and stuff.
No, because they'll see the audio switcher
Oh, you're
first.
right,
That's
you're
why I'm
right.
telling
Yeah,
you to
yeah,
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
But I
feel
don't
you.
think they can hear it.
No,
If
I
you-
can see the.
Yeah, but I don't think they can hear it. That's the thing.
because it's grayed out.
Yeah, let me know if you can hear. If you are joining us just now, let me know. Which we don't have anybody watching at this point, as far as I can tell. But let us know if you can hear the videos.
Why don't do you want to just do it right now and I'll play
Yeah,
it on my
why
phone?
don't you do that real
so
quick?
turn on or actually I'll just back it up to where the clip was.
Yeah, just do that and see if you can
Alright.
hear it. If it works, that'll be like providential. So
Hold on. I'm just giving it a whirl. Tell me something else that you've loved.
all right, I'm looking for more videos here
All right.
on Charlie Kirk. And I want some shorts, man. Come on. They were everywhere. Not too long ago. Oh my word. Did it work? Oh yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah, but it's only because it's picking it up through our mics.
Ah, okay. So it's
So
not
it's not
coming
actually
through.
picking it
Oh,
up.
that's a bummer.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
Well-
But we can solve the problem.
How?
We just need to hook up the audio again through the MIDI.
Yeah, I already did that.
Then why is it grayed out?
I don't know.
All right.
But
hold on.
that
Hold on.
is
It's cam
technically
one.
working.
It says cam 1 is off. We need to put cam 1
Oh,
on.
you're right.
There.
Okay.
All right. Now
Now
when you play another clip, it's going to come
All
through
right,
on
let's
there.
see what it
But we
does.
should drop it down a little bit because I think it's going to blow people's eardrums
All right,
out.
let's try this.
Just drop it down a
Because
little
there's
bit.
nothing there.
Yep.
All right, so let's give it a shot.
Folks, we doing it. We doing it.
Let's check with JD Vance.
But we got to put it on cam 1.
Yeah, I got
wrote a
it.
story in the Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, the Nation isn't
Okay,
a
it looks like we
fringe
actually need to
blog.
turn it up.
It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back
Yeah, I
to
see
the
it.
American Civil War. George
see it.
Soros' Open Society Foundation
Now the world is
funds
looking
this
at this.
magazine,
That's all right.
as does the Ford Foundation
There
we
and
go.
many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement.
All right,
The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote,
see what he says here.
"Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Well, there you go. So
So-
we know that it works now.
So now when you pull up the switcher and it goes back again,
Everybody's like,
Pull up the switcher.
You're-
Pull up the switcher. What are you showing? What is on your feet?
Charlie Kirk.
It's going to be a bunch of skydiving videos.
Yeah, skydiving videos. It's Charlie Kirk. They did a South Park episode on him.
All right, so now we're back.
Now we're back.
Back, baby.
All right, we got it.
All right.
All right,
we're
thank you
learning.
for the awkward moments.
I just want to say, this is now the second technological fix
It
that
is.
I have been able to offer.
I'm just saying, praying that rosary before we started was a
It
good
is-
idea.
Our Blessed Mother just wants to lift me up.
Yeah, that's
she
right.
wants to show me that I should be here.
Yep.
That I'm important
It's true.
to your success.
So the other thing I want to talk about is there are a lot of people saying that you should leave church if your pastor or priest did not mention Charlie Kirk. And I think this is very important to talk about because there's a lot of people out there who will say that that want to talk about, well, was Charlie going to be Catholic or was he going to be Protestant or not? And I don't think that those are good things to focus on right now. The truth is that he was nowhere near anti-Catholic. His wife was born Catholic.
Right.
So these 5-point Calvinists on social media who want to claim Charlie Kirk like they were his, that wasn't what Charlie Kirk was doing. He was interviewing with like Taylor Marshall
Bishop Barron.
and Bishop Barron and
Right.
John MacArthur and these kinds of things. And I think it's important to note that it would be hard. I know people are going to get mad at this because some people are saying, you know, if Charlie was a Catholic, there'd be a good chance that he would be a saint. But most people don't know, including a lot of Catholics, I don't think. If you read the story of Maximilian Kolbe, it doesn't, there is a question about his canonization that comes up. And the author of the biography talks about the fact that when the church is going through the canonization, they have to distinguish between someone who was doing God's work for the sake of God, basically, and somebody who was politically courageous. If you're just politically courageous, like you are a soldier who dies for your fellow soldier on the battlefield, that is incredibly courageous.
Right.
That doesn't make you a saint. And so there's certain qualities about sainthood that, at least when this book was written, that the church considers when it's trying to decide whether or not somebody should be a saint.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that if he was Catholic that he wouldn't have become a saint? No, because the church ultimately decides. Well, actually, God decides.
Right.
But the church is the one who investigates any miracles of their intercession. Charlie clearly had a heroic life.
Yeah.
So, you know, he would definitely meet that. But the thing I want to talk about, though, is that there's a lot of Protestants and Catholics on social media saying, you know, if your priest did not talk about the Charlie Kirk assassination, then you need to leave. And if you're Protestant, that is probably true. If you're Catholic, that might not even be a data point.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's important to understand is because Charlie Kirk was a Protestant. And the reality is that if Bishop Barron or a very like holy Catholic person was in the shoes of Charlie Kirk and took his place, rather,
Right.
Catholics would probably be offering mass for his soul
Right.
more than they are for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And for Protestants, though, because he is their guy, like, yeah, that is probably a very good litmus test as to whether or not your church is actually a biblically based church. That Erica Kirk said, you need to find that. And I would like to echo that to whoever's listening. If you want to help TPUSA, you cannot help them on your own strength. You're going to need Jesus to do it. Obviously, they're going to have a lot more pressure and they're going to have a lot more support. But all of the things that Charlie Kirk said about where he was, it was because of God.
Yep.
And so he's not going to sit there and say, well, now that I'm dead, you can just join TPUSA and it'll just carry on because, you don't need God anymore because you got all this momentum.
Yeah, because you're a secular humanist and you've got great ideas.
Right. He's
That's
going
all
to
we
say,
need.
you're going to need God. Mm-hmm. Specifically, you're going to need Jesus Christ.
Right.
Which is another thing that we'll come back to. But the reason why, as a Catholic, you cannot use this as a litmus test is because you are not Catholic because of your political position, your moral beliefs alone. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of Protestants, Charlie Kirk was one of them, who agreed with a lot of Catholic social teaching, all of the moral stuff. He basically had the belief that marriage was made for children.
Right.
You can find different videos on it, but it was very clear that he was becoming more and more Catholic on that issue,
right,
and less Protestant in
right,
my viewing of all these clips that are going around.
Right.
But when you're Catholic, Pope Francis said that, I believe it was him, that the church is a field hospital for the sick. And if you're Catholic right now and you're devastated by the Charlie Kirk assassination, then you need Jesus in the Eucharist.
Yep.
You need the Mass,
yep,
to realign you that this horrific event is going to be used for good somehow, mm-hmm, but you need the healing power of the sacraments,
yep,
of Christ in those sacraments. And it's not that they're like magic or any of that kind of stuff. It's that the sacraments are the primary way that God intends to unite himself with you. And if you are angry about Charlie Kirk, then you also need the sacraments. Mm-hmm. And so for a priest to go up there and distract from Christ in the Mass,
yeah,
would be a really big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean that a priest couldn't go and say, during the prayers of the people,
right,
we pray for the Kirk
yeah,
family.
Yeah.
But he should not be central, in my opinion,
mm-hmm,
to the homily.
Well, and also, this is just a perfect example of how the church is above even our modern era, which, coming from the Protestant world, you're so used to the church kind of conforming in some ways to the events of our current day and
Right.
age. This past Sunday, even when Charlie Kirk has been murdered, it was the day for the veneration of the cross.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very important day in the liturgy of the church.
Yep.
And nobody's death, no matter how valuable they are or how essential to our political or social fabric, their death does not supersede Christ's death on the cross and our venerating Christ's crucifixion. And I was so struck by that at Mass, because when you're Protestant, it's really up to you
Mm-hmm.
what you are doing on Sunday. It's up to, your pastoral staff,
Right.
your elders, whatever. But in the Catholic Church, Mother Church says, this is what we are doing this Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And you say, yes, Mother.
Right.
It is not the same. And so I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things, a friend of mine called up and was frustrated about how his church had handled the Charlie Kirk thing. And he said, I know that, a big reason why I know a big difference now between Catholics and Protestants is that Catholics are going to church for Jesus, to receive Jesus. Mm-hmm. And that, whether you agree with that or not, that's why people are there.
Right.
So you can believe that that's a lie that they're believing, but that's a lie that is motivating them to be there. Mm-hmm. It's not a lie, but from a Protestant's perspective, they're like, well, why would you even go?
Right.
Because we actually believe Jesus is there.
Right.
And when it comes to the Protestant, though, this is also a very good litmus test for sola scriptura. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean this in the sense of Protestant Catholic debates. What I mean is, if sola scriptura is really important to you, it's really important to you.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out if you should stay at that Protestant church, then go and confront your pastor on the Charlie Kirk thing, because the reality is that Protestants are free to do what you want.
Right.
By and large.
Right.
If you're in a liturgical tradition, there's a good chance your bishop is probably not going to do anything to you. If you're in another denomination where you're non-denom, well, then you get to choose everything from the music to whatever heresy you want to preach, or whatever, theological orthodoxy you want to preach. You have no boundaries except for that local instance.
Right.
And so when it comes to your church's leadership failing, go to them with the scriptures and say, this is why you should have talked about Charlie Kirk. Why did you not do that? Mm-hmm. And see if your pastor changes his position. Because I do think the Protestants, you should be talking about Charlie Kirk right now. He's a martyr.
Right.
So, is he a political martyr? Yes. Is he a Christian martyr? Absolutely. It was who he was.
Right.
So, but if you're not willing to actually talk about Charlie Kirk, then I think that your church may have some good reasons as a Protestant church to not do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe you guys are getting death threats and you didn't realize it. Maybe your videos are now going viral and you didn't know because you're too busy watching Charlie Kirk. You just have no idea.
Right.
So you got to have some grace. Mm-hmm. However, if they respond with, we don't want to offend people, he was a polarizing person, you got to leave your church. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're Catholic, maybe not. You might need to be there and be the Charlie Kirk at your parish that Charlie Kirk was on campus.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that. We're going to watch another quick video here because I just like jumping around between
let me know when you want me
these.
to just...
Why don't you just pull it up, switch it right now, because I just got YouTube up, and we'll just pick one. So let's see here. Let's see. I think we're going to do DEI over merit.
Works for me.
Let's do a woman.
Males
here.
should have to contribute just as much to a female's pregnancy if she is going to carry said thing.
Fair. Let me hold you to that standard then. Time out. Therefore, if a woman is going to have an abortion, is it 50% the man's decision?
I'm switching it back.
If we hold males to this responsibility, I believe that they should, at least as much to a female's pregnancy if she is going to carry said thing.
Fair. Let me hold you to that standard then. Time out. Therefore, if a woman is going to have an abortion, is it 50% the man's decision?
If we hold males to this responsibility, I believe that they should, at least be able to, have a say. But that is my personal opinion.
Or 20%?
In the end, it is a female's body.
If your contention is that men should be held more accountable for impregnating women, of course, the law already reflects a lot of that. That's why child support decisions go 99% against men, okay? The law is way in the woman's favor. A lot of times it should be,
but
because...
a lot of the times in one-night stands, that's just, simply, not the case.
And stop having one-night stands.
Males should have to contribute just...
Right. But again, that is an example where Charlie Kirk was very much willing to just say whatever he felt like needed to be said. And I don't think it's switched over. Oh, it did switch over.
It's switching.
Okay.
It's switching.
And I think that a lot of times, just if you're a conservative right now and you decided that you were going to just kind of get squishy on the transgender thing, put yourself in her shoes.
Yeah.
Do you like Charlie Kirk?
Oh, yeah. You don't want to be in his crosshairs.
Right. Because no one wants to be exposed.
Yep.
And I think that's important for us to realize as we're watching people on the left process this too. I mean, he was crushing them.
Right.
No one wants to be crushed. No one wants to be debunked.
Embarrassed.
Nobody wants to be exposed to believe a lie.
Right.
I mean, there are basically three groups of people right now in the country that makes me pretty concerned. And there's the people, these are not in order, but as far as people that are concerned, it's the leftists who are actually celebrating the death and think that they can do it without consequence.
Yeah.
That's a huge problem. And you're going to create a lot of angry people. The second group is the conservatives who now feel like they totally have a justification now, especially
Justification for
violence or anything like that.
Yeah.
The reality is that there's a lot of conservatives, I mean, that would say Charlie Kirk was a better man than me. He shouldn't have been dead.
Right.
And the third thing you have is that, and this sounds crazy because people don't like to talk about this, but people seem to think that government inspired terrorism or any sort of sabotage only happens in other countries, that it doesn't happen here.
Right.
And we know that there have been groups in the FBI who were targeting Catholic churches, who were trying to get into
targeting conservative ministry
Yeah,
groups.
and like getting into these groups and deciding that they wanted to. I think it was wasn't it Whitmer, where they decided that there was a group that of FBI agents who had basically inspired these conservative guys to radicalize and try and kidnap her.
Right.
So like, we know that this is happening. Does that mean everybody in the FBI is bad? No, but you do have to understand that just like there are, we love the military, we love the sacrifice. There's some jerks in the military that do not uphold the oath. So the third group, though, is the apathetic, the people who are coasting, the people who don't think that this matters, the people who are like, well, you just got to move past it.
People die every day.
Yeah, and the reason why that's a concern is because if you watch like any World War II movie or any movie about Marxist revolutions or anything like that, those three groups are pretty much there. In basically they become tribal.
Yeah.
And this creates a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the concerns I have.
Well, and I just want to say one thing about apathy. When you think about, like, everyone hates the apathetic Nazi, like the apathetic German in Nazi Germany. We all can't stand that person because we see them for what they are, which is a coward.
Right.
And we hate it when we think about the apathetic person in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. Name any war where we see a moral purpose behind it.
Or a moral decision that needs to be made.
Right, exactly. And we don't like apathy.
Right.
You got to make a decision.
Yep.
And
and that, it comes back to that's also
biblical
the difference between the actual. I'm going to adjust this audio because I think I'm getting a little loud over there.
Oh,
that's the other. Yeah, I'm getting a little. No, I think I'm okay.
All right.
But but that's the thing about that situation when it comes to being apathetic, is that what the left has done is said, well, yeah, if you're a Nazi, then we should be allowed to hurt you.
Right.
And the conservatives are saying, no, we're going to go be humane about this, and we're going to stop evil people through the political process.
Right.
And so if you're apathetic, you have to understand that you're hurting the people who are trying to protect you.
Exactly.
And if you do not join a cause,
right,
like after Charlie Kirk's death,
right,
you do have to understand that there is such a thing as sin of omission. That doesn't mean that you have to be Catholic. James says, I think it's the book of James, that it is a sin for a man to know what is right and not do it. So if you are sitting here just like saying, well, I'm not going to mourn Charlie Kirk's death. Well, he was a Christian. The Bible says mourn with people who mourn. And there was a Christian who said, I'm not going to do that to me, to my face, and walked away. And that is unacceptable. In this moment, you are at a powder keg moment. If Solzhenitsyn were here, he'd be preaching that from the rooftops. Like, this is a huge, huge problem.
Right.
If Bonhoeffer were here, he would be saying all that it takes for for evil to prosper is for good men to do nothing. I think Edmund Burke said something similar. At the end of the day, there are a lot of good people in our churches who are doing nothing, who say, well, I'm raising a family, that's enough. Okay, well, I hope it's enough, because based on the birth rates, it's not. You're not having enough kids, just factually speaking, including Catholics.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to a conservative Catholic church, that's a different story. But I do think that makes me nervous. And that kind of comes back to one more point, is that if you're going to consider leaving your church, consider getting savvy or wise about how to educate your congregation on something like the pro-life issue. If there's not a pro-life ministry at your church, but your church didn't talk about Charlie Kirk, try and start a pro-life ministry and use Charlie Kirk as the guy who helps educate your congregants on it.
Yeah, on how
you
to
can
talk.
be smart about this. You don't have to be somebody
bulldozer.
who's like, a jerk.
Right.
Be wise as a serpent. Look at Charlie Kirk videos and see how he figured out a way to, in a non-aggressive way, go onto these campuses, talk to people, and motivate them to do things that they never thought they would do. There was one other thing I was going to say, but I can't remember. Did you have any other thoughts
No, I feel like
on that?
everything you shared,
I think that's
I love.
I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
The last thing I was going to say is that, we're probably going to be doing some things around like marriage advice.
Yeah.
And like family advice. So here's your first little tip to close it out with how to find a good wife. Number 1, ask if she has a Bible. If she doesn't have a Bible, she's probably not worth dating. And if she says she looks at it on her phone, flip a coin. Take a look and see if her phone looks like it's worn from reading the Bible or social media. But the second thing is that I would say is, if you really want to now let's say you've dated somebody. Let's say this is just a quick tip. We can go into it more in another episode. If you are listening at this point still, let us know in the comments that you'd like to hear more dating advice from the best couple on the planet.
Man.
Second
we were
only
professional
to
daters.
you, right? Who's listening?
Unless you're
I mean,
single,
I'll take
in which
second
case,
place.
Unless you're single, in which
I
case
think we
are
can say
beating
that
you.
we are the second best couple on the planet. And when people say, "Well, who's the best?" You say, "Well, you are."
You are.
There you go.
So humble.
Right?
Yeah.
You say that to everybody,
Yeah.
and you stay in second place.
Always.
That's wisdom right there.
Yeah. That's sitting at the
Yeah.
end of the banquet table.
Yeah.
You
Yes. I do like his daily wisdom clip
That
that
was
his
so
wife
cool.
posted. That was really
That was
funny.
so
I
beautiful.
can't find it right now, but
That's fine.
But the thing I was going to say
second
is,
thing.
second thing is
Find the
that
lady.
you're keeping me on track. The second thing is, when you are dating a girl, do not wait to talk to her about how she wants to raise her kids.
100%.
So what I mean by that is, ask her, hey, with everything that's going on, like, I heard this crazy story. You don't have to bring it up like it's your belief. Just say, I heard this crazy story in the news.
Just this story. Not even-
This teacher was telling kids that they could be animals.
What do you?
What do you think? How would you deal with that if that was your kid? Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
And if she says, I don't know. I mean, people can do what they want. Red flag, friend.
Yeah.
Like, and then tell her you disagree and see what she says.
Yeah.
Same thing for a girl. Talk to a guy. Would you let your kid stay in that school?
100%.
The key thing to remember in trying to find a spouse is that you can live theoretically with anybody you want. You could get along with any adult out there.
Yeah.
However, you cannot raise children with any person out there. You have to be united on that front.
Yep.
And if you want your marriage to be a success, and you're not just doing it because you want to get the hanky-panky, for those who are not Christians, believe it or not, a lot of Christians out there just get married to have sex. But if you're actually wanting to have a successful family, a successful marriage, then you do have to ask the questions around kids.
Right.
Because you can get to know this person. You're going to get to know that person. But if you look at every movie or any story, as soon as children come into the picture, the story suddenly takes on a moral clarity of who's evil and who's not. And if you are talking to a girl or a guy and you're considering them as a potential spouse, you need to find out how they want to raise their kids, how they intend to handle conflict with the kids. If you're Protestant and Catholic, what church are you going to go to?
Yeah. And I'm going to just say, too, there is no reason to wait until you've been dating this person for 6 months to ask these questions. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
It is foolishness.
You're wasting time.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing in closing. A prayer to St. Maximilian Kolbe. which is not worship, but we'll talk about that later. We'll do some Catholic apologetic stuff. But I think if you're a Protestant, I know a lot of people say you should read the Catechism, and you should. I also think you should read the Vatican II documents. I think you're going to be very, very surprised at how much the Catholic Church loves Protestants.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be very moved by their love for you. And I think you're also going to be impressed by the standard that they place on fellow Catholics. And I need to find the quote because it's going to take me a minute. My wife's getting nervous here.
No, I'm not.
Like,
I'm
I can't
cool.
handle the silence.
I am cool as a cucumber.
I can't handle the silence.
If we're silent, they'll just get to see a camera angle of the two of us. So
that's true. It is
ready?
a beautiful camera.
So you want to be quiet, and then they can look at both of us, and they can see the
The way
crucifix.
you said that was really funny.
All right, let's.
You want to be quiet?
Shut up
You
now.
want to shut your mouth?
You shut up now.
Did it pass?
I know you guys like that angle.
It is a good angle. I just read it to you the other day.
You did.
Oh, here we go. I found it. Okay.
All right. Woo.
See, you were getting nervous.
I was chill. I was totally chill.
Okay. So here is this statement. And this is what you have to remember. And this is what I said on Twitter about Charlie Kirk, and we'll end with this. Charlie Kirk was a Protestant who valued Catholic thought.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to acknowledge that. 3 weeks ago, in fact, while I'm reading this, can you pull up the video see if you can find the short on Mary, and we can close out on that?
Sure. I'll send it to you on
Yeah,
Signal.
just send it to me on Signal, and I'll click on it. But if you look at this is the first document in the Catholic Church, Vatican II documents, at least in my book. It's called Lumen Gentium. It's the dogmatic constitution on the church. And a priest friend of mine gave me this. And this was one of the passages I read that made me surprised at the wisdom of Catholic thought. In this context, the Catholic Church is talking about Protestants, Catholics, and other religions. And this is what they say about Catholics. It says, they are fully incorporated into the society of the Church, who, possessing the Spirit of Christ, accept her entire system and all the means of salvation given to her, the Church, and through union with her visible structure are joined to Christ, who rules her through the Supreme Pontiff, that's the Pope, and the bishops. This joining is effected by the bonds of professed faith, of the sacraments, of ecclesiastical government, and of communion. He is not saved, however, who, though he is part of the body of the Church, does not persevere in charity. He remains indeed in the bosom of the Church, but as it were, only in a bodily manner and not in his heart. All the sons of the Church should remember that their exalted status is to be attributed not to their own merits, but to the special grace of Christ. If they fail, moreover, to respond to that grace in thought, in word, and in deed, not only will they not be saved, but they will be more severely judged. And I just think that is a really important thought. And it closes out that paragraph. This is paragraph 14. Catechumens, those are people discerning whether or not they should become Catholic, who, moved by the Holy Spirit, seek with explicit intention to be incorporated into the Church, are by that very intention joined to her. With love and solicitude, Mother Church already embraces them as her own. And I think that... Did you find it?
Yeah, I sent it to you on
you
Signal.
Did?
Yep.
No, I didn't have Signal up. And I think that if you watch this clip, I think you're going to understand that, John MacArthur and Charlie Kirk are no longer with us. And for those that don't know, John MacArthur was a prominent Protestant pastor. And I think the thing you have to understand is that when you watch this clip as we close out, you're going to see, and we'll play this clip. It's only 49 seconds, and then I'll read this prayer that was written for St. Maximilian Kolbe, because it definitely captures Charlie Kirk. But watch this clip, and Can you get ready to push that button over there?
Ready.
Yeah, just walk over there real quick. If you watch this clip and you read this last clip, with love and solicitude, Mother Church already embraces these catechumens as her own. I think Charlie Kirk definitely demonstrates that while he may not have fully intended it, he still loved the church. All right, I'm ready.
Let me first say, I think we as Protestant evangelicals under-venerate Mary. She was very important. She was a vessel for our Lord and Savior. I think that we as evangelicals and Protestants, we've overcorrected. We don't talk about Mary enough. We don't venerate her enough. Mary was clearly important to early Christians. There's something there. In fact, I believe one of the ways that we fix toxic feminism in America is Mary is the solution. Have more young ladies be pious, be reverent, to be full of faith, slow to anger, slow to words at times. Mary is a phenomenal example, and I think a counter to so much of the toxicity of feminism in the modern era.
There you go.
So beautiful.
All right, so
You're share
we're
a
gonna
prayer with us.
Yep, we're gonna share this prayer, and we should
we'll
be
be all
back
done.
on, and we are.
That.
All right, and obviously I don't have YouTube Premium on my podcaster account. All right, so this is a prayer to Saint Maximilian Mary Kolbe. Dear Saint Maximilian Mary Kolbe, you were destined from youth for the religious life. You founded the militia that worked to spread the devotion to our Blessed Mother's Immaculate Heart. During World War II, you were captured in Poland by the German army and later transferred to Auschwitz. While others were chosen to be executed, you who had not been chosen offered yourself in another man's place. We honor your martyrdom and your faith to carry out the gospel of Christ and to lay down your life for your friend. Amen.
Amen.
And I just think that that prayer is very appropriate for Charlie Kirk. And so I just want to thank Charlie Kirk for all that he did. And I want to thank him for his sacrifice. And I am so glad that he has left us the legacy that he did. And we pray for him to come into the arms of Christ very, very soon. And I'm just very, very grateful for his life. And with all the masses that have been offered, honestly, he's probably with Jesus now as we speak. But if it wasn't for him and if it wasn't for his courage, we wouldn't be using this studio right now. So whatever God wants to do, Lord, we give it to you. We ask that you bless the studio, and we ask that you bless anybody who's listening. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.